Last week, we talked about the need to look at specific countries. So let's do that. This country has real problems. The hand-picked successor of the country's liberating general has started throwing his political opponents in jail. And he has made it a crime to criticize the government. Over the past 20 years, there have been at least 2 large-scale insurrections. Most commentators think it's just a matter of time before the richer southern half of the country secedes. Let's take a look at the joker that's presiding over all this. That's John Adams, the second president of the United States of America, and we're talking about the United States in 1798. Stable, prosperous countries don't just happen. It takes time. African countries are all less than 60 years old, and most are much younger than that. Before independence, African countries suffered hundreds of years of slave trade and economic exploitation. And when they finally became independent, the United States and the USSR had a competition to see who could support the most brutal and violent dictator.
Angola is a great example. In 1975, they finally pushed the Portuguese out after roughly 400 years as a colony. The country promptly fell into one of the most complex civil wars of the 20th century. The war involved the US, the USSR, South Africa, and over 10,000 Cuban troops.
Wait, seriously? 10,000 Cuban troops?
Yeah, man, that's what Wikipedia says.
Jesus. Anyway.
The Civil War didn't actually end until 2002. In the past 12 years, Angola has managed to use its natural resources to build up an economy with a GDP the size of many in Europe. Angola is still a deeply unequal, poor, and authoritarian place. But keep in mind that when I was in university, they were still shooting at each other. In 2011, The Guardian reported that Angola was using some of its petrodollars to buy up Portuguese debt. In less than 40 years of independence and less than 10 years of peace, Angola had managed to turn the tables on its colonial oppressor. Extraordinary stuff.
Let's look at Kenya, a country that has managed to be independent for 50 years rather than just a decade or 2. GDP is up and has been going up for the past decade. Nairobi has a flourishing tech sector, and developed world banks are trying to learn from their mobile banking industry. The country has managed to stay stable in a very unstable neighborhood and has a flourishing multi-party democracy. It's worth saying a bit more about that democracy. Following elections in 2008, there was violence that cost as many as 1,500 lives. The 2013 elections were peaceful, but it still bothered people that there could be an election that violent 45 years after independence from Britain. That reminds me of another country where 80 years after independence from Britain, post-election violence killed over 600,000 people. I wonder how they turned out.